my name's Clinton. I'm one of the head trainers here at Unity.
My name is Ryan. I'm one of the owners here at Unity. So Clinton and I have known each other for several years since we were in grade 4. We took different paths, and then in our early 20s, we both kind of came back to fitness. It's something that's been a part of my life personally from a very young age. We both had a mutual friend who was in the industry for a long time, so took us to gyms, got exposed to fitness competitions, and me going through my own transformation where I lost about 100 pounds of weight really made me embody the mantra of working out and also taking care of your health. And then, a long story short, we worked in several gyms and tried to implement policies that we thought would not only benefit us trainers, but more importantly, the community of members that we have that help support and allow you to have an establishment like this. And tried multiple times and weren't able to find a middle ground. So we said, you know what, if they won't build the table, let's create our own. So immediately went down and started to kind of do some networking and also most importantly research, understanding what it takes to not only start a business but most importantly to fund it to get off the ground. And doing a lot of research, coming over different types of applications, et cetera, and one of the things that we stumbled upon was FACE and the organization, and specifically also helping out Black entrepreneurs as well, which we thought, especially for me, was very, very eye-opening because it's hard finding, frankly speaking, money to be able to get your dream off of the ground. And continuously, like I said, doing research and looking at the application and then putting all the pieces together, like a business plan, attention to detail, coming up with a brand name, finding a location. There's just so many things that takes to start a business. It's so hard to put it into a small sentence, but yeah, essentially we were working together for years, wanted to open up our own space and wanted to be able to not have to go through a large bodies of people in order to get things done. We both also have corporate experience, and I'm sure working in the corporate world, that if you want one thing done, all of a sudden you have 10, 15 people CC'd on one email. So like I said, cutting that kind of timeline down in order to get things done, and most importantly, being able to execute, led us to say, you know what, let's create something of ourselves. And where the name came from, Unity, is that one day I was sitting in the gym, I was looking around a lot of people, let's say Clinton's over there working out, I'm over here working out, you have another member over here doing something. We might be speaking together, but we're all unified by the same thing. We're all here, training together, training as one, and we're all unified by that, where we're here to get better and work on ourselves. So that's where the name came from, Unity. That, and then also having consistent clientele over the years, because it's hard to find not only people that believe in you but will stay with you long term with like any business. And I've been fortunate enough to have clients that have been with me for almost 5 years. And one thing that always kept coming back to those discussions was community. We have such a community, we have such a family, we have such a network here together. Let's stay together as much as possible. So between me seeing different gyms and always seeing people working out, and also, like I said, working on themselves, and then also constantly having members saying, we feel such a bond when we're here together, we have such a community. That's where the name Unity came from, and also the slogan, train as one.
Like Ryan was saying earlier, we've been friends for a long time, one different path. My path was also corporate. I went to engineering actually, mostly because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I wanted some type of good career. Honestly, I've always wanted to help people, but some people can relate to this. I was scared of blood, so I was like, I'm not gonna go medical. So there was no way for me. But as time progressed on and ended up back in the gym, one, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed where I could take my body and understand what I can do with my body, whether that comes from just like a physical standpoint or a rehabilitation standpoint, going from not being able to move to just feeling stronger. And then I realized I could do this for other people as well. Not only my parents or my friends, but even, let's say, a new person to the gym who may be a little bit scared, they don't want to injure themselves, they have no experience working out or exercising. And it's really a beautiful thing to see someone achieve something they didn't think was physically possible, and the steps, and it's nice to help guide them through those steps. And then a few short months of just consistency and being frequent in the gym, even just like 3 months, you see their own confidence build up to the point where they're feeling a lot more competent. And that's really what kind of pushes me to continue this every single day. On top of that, just learning about the body, I feel like is such an amazing thing that is not taught in schools. And it's really not going to be taught in households unless there is someone in that household who also lives that and preaches that. So it's beautiful that two of us can really come together. Some of the members here already have some fitness knowledge. Some are brand new. So it's beautiful for us to just impart that onto them. They ask as many questions as they need from us, and we'll give them that same advice. And same thing to some of their children that come in here too, and other children that we train here. It's a great thing to start them young. I definitely wish I had some more people in my life like this when I was younger, because it's just like, where would I be? But at the same time, I believe things happen for a reason. So now we have like, how they say everything is 20/20 in hindsight. Now I have that perspective to understand where I am and where I was and all of the in-between that helped me grow till now. So reasons why I like Unity and the community.
So funny enough, we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary this past Saturday.
So when you started, what were some challenges you experienced that first month, the first 6 months? What was those challenges that you experienced?
Getting people through the door.
Not many people knew us, even if we were like right here.
Yeah, I had a brand called Rambo Fitness, and that's what I had marketed on, spend hundreds of dollars doing SEO, etc. So that's what I was known for. So when I put that brand to the side and rebranded as Unity, to people just going on, there was no credibility to the brand. They've never heard of this before. So we had to basically start from the bottom and build up the validation. The social media, I had to create a brand new social media account. We had no followers, now we have over 1,400. So I think the biggest thing was not only getting people through the door, but most importantly, how do you run a business? It's one thing operating as personal trainers and managing our small business where, Priscilla and Amanda, you might be our personal clients and we're just working on you, versus now us, taking care of hydro and gas and marketing and rent, all these types of stuff. It's a whole journey that you experience, and nothing really prepares you for it. We didn't go to business school. I took a quick business course to give me some fundamentals, but nothing in life teaches you how to run a business. And a lot of the parents who I work with say, you don't have a child, but you kind of see what it's like when you're now running your own business. It's almost like a newborn. It's just always crying. It always wants something, and you can't turn your back on it even for a second, because if we're not working on it, nobody else is. So like I said, branding ourselves. We're talking about Unity, but what does that stand for? We talk about community, but what does that mean? How do you really relate to the average consumer, and how do you set your brand apart from different businesses out there? Because the gym industry is a very saturated industry. There's so many gyms out there. So what makes you special opposed to other gyms? Okay, well, for starters, let's get some, glow in the dark. Although that's something that's almost quote unquote gimmicky, it's different. It's something new. And what I've realized over the last years being a trainer is that although I could tell you that it's very important for you to be following a structured program, doing the same exercises over and over again, that's how most people plateau, because they get bored. So if you can figure out a way to keep somebody mentally engaged and take care of their cardiovascular and their health and their strength, and that's the way to do it. So coming up with a glow-in-the-dark experience called Lift and Glow was a huge, huge hit. A lot of people came into the gym, and that helped us get some separation from other gyms out there. Us having a child minding area, because a lot of the parents that I worked with, previous gyms that I was at, we weren't really welcoming for children, and then clients have to, hey, no one's able to watch my daughter, hey, I have to pick up my son, I can't make the session. So we, instead of us building out an office, we said let's give that space to the children. Number one, it allows the parents to come in, but also number two, it gets to expose children at a younger age to the gym, because in schools, especially from what I'm hearing after COVID, that program has kind of cut down a lot, and they're not doing as much physical education as they need to be. So for a young child to come in here and seeing his mom working out and get inspired and say, Mommy, I want to be able to do that. I want to work out with you too. It's a great, great thing. Outside of that, also, what's one of the other things that separates Unity is not only the people in here, but the versatile and variety of classes that we offer. Most facilities, when you go to a boot camp place, it's either a strip of turf or it's just a bunch of treadmills. We've incorporated it where we have a big open turf area, but then we also have a strength area where we have people doing squat racks. We have a leg press machine, leg extension, hip thrust. We also have some unique machines that most gyms don't have, which is like a standing abductor, as well as a sit-to-stand hip thrust. So we were also very particular with the type of equipment that we got in here, but also how we created the programming as well. How did I hear about FACE? So I was doing a lot of research in terms of trying to find ways to fund this, because although I had quite a bit of savings that I thought at the time was a lot, when you get hit with real bills, it's like, oh, that's a tip. You need money. So I was started to do researching, finding different, like I said, organizations that can help with type of funding, and I wanted to find organizations that was a mixture between grants but also loans as well. And just doing a lot of research online, I came across FACE. And I had a business partner at the time say, you should try to reach out and go through the process and see what happens. Just send an email. So I submitted an application, and the one person that I remembered who got me over the hump was a colleague of yours called Eche. And he spent a lot of time with me, calling me multiple times saying, hey, we need this from you, we need that from you, so sorry to bother you, we need this from you, and just again and again and again and again. So it's a very vigorous process, it's an intense process, but at the same time, I look at it from the other perspective. If I was giving out thousands of dollars, I'm not just going to give it out to anybody. There needs to be, and it's a business, you need to make sure that you have a plan in place to be able to return this money. And there's many, many hands out there that want to be fed, so what separates you? Beside the fact that you have an idea that you think that can be successful, everybody has an idea. Are you passionate enough to put the work in behind you in order to make that idea now a reality, and then also from a reality, a continuous reality? So yeah, like I said, I found it through online research. I had an account manager named Eche, and one of the great things I loved about him is that he was very not only patient, but understanding and explaining things to me. Because there was times where I get frustrated, say, I just spent hours giving you the information you asked for. Yeah, but you missed one small thing, and now we need to look at all of it again. But also making me understand the why behind certain things. And I think some of the other organizations that didn't help us out during that time, that was one of the biggest difference makers, is that I don't mind, giving you everything you're asking for, but a little bit of understanding as to why. And then we see that at the same time also with training, is that, if I ask you to do an exercise, you're asking me why, how's this gonna benefit my body? I'll do it, no problem, but it would help me mentally do it if I understood the purpose behind this. So he was very, very great at that. And the turnaround time once our application to get approved, the funds were very instant. And it was at a very credible time, because we were pretty much just at the last stage for the construction. And we had one more bill to pay off for the construction, and they said they weren't setting foot in here until it was paid. And so I just kept going back and forth with Eche and got that application done. So again, we cannot thank FACE enough. And a lot of the people that have come in here and had their own transformations, from the mental health that has improved from people coming in here, the physical transformations, the strength transformations, none of that would have been possible if it wasn't for the money that we received to get our dream and turn into a reality. So thank you, FACE, and thank you, of course, for all of your work and your patience with us during that process, for sure.
Off the top of my head, I can think of like two really big takeaways. One being, as much as everyone wants to be self-made or a standalone person, there's no way you can do this on your own. It helps so much to have a partner, someone who's gone through a lot of the business side of, let's say, owning a business, not only the self-employed side of owning a business, because there are times when, and this is like point number 2, times when you really get discouraged and you feel like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. But you got to keep your head up, you got to keep trying, you got to keep taking that next step, because you never know where that next step will lead you. And literally from a year ago, it was here, we were trying to figure out how to get people in here and how to keep people in here. And now it's a year later and we're like, there's so many people in here. And in fact, we actually need more trainers in here to take care of these people. So as much as we get discouraged and as much as like things will hit the wall, hit the fan, like keep stepping forward, keep moving forward, have an accountability partner, or just have your partner in general to help check you back into reality, remind you of what your whys are.
I would say I'll stick with 2, and number 1 is don't give up. I think a lot of businesses fail before they even get started, because maybe they're working with FACE, and FACE asks them for a piece of the document they don't have. So they say, you know what, I don't think I'm prepared for this, I'm just going to give up. or their doors open and they're not getting customers in. You know what? I'm just going to give up. Let's just sell everything and close down. There's been many times over the last year where I'm sitting down looking at the numbers and I'm saying, I'm not a wizard, I'm not a genie. Where is this money coming from? And you go to sleep, you wake up, and you just come to the gym with a fresh mindset, with a fresh set of ideas, and you keep trying and trying, and you have to be innovative and not afraid to fail. And I think if I had that type of mindset at the beginning of where our year was versus now, we might even be a lot further up ahead than where we are. But as Clinton said earlier, everything in life happens for a reason. You have to go through those trials and tribulations to understand what it takes. And as long as you continuously learn from those mistakes and you build a better judgment and better sense of character and just operations, it helps you down the road. And then I would say number 2, cash flow. That's the other thing that businesses need to understand is how cash flow works. The beginning of the month, you pay your rent, you have some money left over, all of a sudden you feel like the business is making money. And then by the end of the month, when other loans are coming out of your account, other bills such as utilities, paying staff, marketing campaigns, you realize you might be short for that next month payment. So understanding how cash flow works and understanding that, if you're looking at, let's say, a year and business quarters, all of that type of stuff is very, very important, and you can't shy away from it. There's a lot of people who are very successful and are very smart in their actual trade, but when it comes to mixing the business component, that's why they fail. So understanding business as best as you can and understanding how cash flow works and budgeting yourself from utilities and bills and saving stuff, and so you can also grow the business. Because if you keep spending all your money on just paying bills and you're not doing any advertising or marketing, how are people going to know about the incredible product that you've created? So really, not getting too excited when, let's say, a flurry of deposits coming in and think like, okay, it's only the 5th of the month. We need to be able to make sure that this money's still on the 31st. So yeah, budgeting yourself and holding yourself accountable throughout the month from a financial standpoint, huge.
So some of the classes we have for the group classes, so that's the training, such as like the boot camps, we have a glute power build, we have a lower body inferno, we have an upper body beast, we have a sweat it out,
we have strength and conditioning, we have full body pump. One of the great things about our classes, and as I said earlier about our value propositions, is that all of our classes are different. Most facilities, when you go and you look at the schedule, it's the same class and it's just ran throughout the day, whereas we have a lot of variety. So a lot of our members do what we call a back-to-back. So let's say they come in at 6 a.m. in the morning, they have the time. Let's say they'll do lower body inferno, and then at 7 a.m. it's upper body beast, so they're getting 2 components of their body. Maybe they'll come back at 9:30 and they'll do our cardio-based class, sweat it out. So we have classes that are offered all throughout the day. We also just launched 3 new specialty classes, and one of them... 4, yes. And one of them, Clinton also leads, which is something that a lot of people need. You can talk a little about your class.
That one is essentially a mobility class. We call that one stretch, strength, and release. Essentially, you just want to try and loosen up some of those tight joints, and we don't only want to loosen them, because flexibility alone, not great. You want to have strength there too. So we do a little bit of stretch, flex, and then also strengthening ourselves in those positions. We also have 3 more classes. One is a step class, taught by another one of our trainers, Judith. Yeah. Then we have an ab class, so a core burner. This one is taught by one of our trainers named Daniel. And the last one is a soca size, which I think kind of speaks for itself. We come in here, a little bit of a soca party, but it is mostly based around exercises. And if you see the 2 of us in it, we are sweating.
Yeah, it's very intense, but it's a good time. And then the other class that we also offer is, if we talk about youth in the child room, is that we also offer youth classes. So a lot of the parents will stay back after their workout class on Saturday and then let their kids work out too as well. So that's a very popular class. It's growing a lot more too as the weather is chiming down, and kids, what used to go outside in the summer, they're not getting that anymore. So the parents want them to stay active, not sitting at home on their Switch or their PS4 or whatever they have. So yeah. That's a big thing. And then, of course, our big specialty event, Lift and Glow. That's always a party. It's a great time. So all of the gym, all the windows have blackout blinds that come down. And then above here, this black strip is LED lights, so neon lighting. and that happens once a month. And then we also have lasers behind you as well that kind of shoot down, and it's just a party. As we talked about earlier, people plateau during their fitness journey, and if we can find different ways to make it fun and different and innovative, then why not? So yeah, it's an hour and a half because we spend about 20 minutes explaining, because generally we have a lot of new people that have never been here before at all come in because it's something different that they're seeing. We explain all the exercises. We do a big warm up here on the turf, and then everybody goes into their stations. We'll sometimes give out protein shots because we also have a protein bar as well, which is another thing that separates us. So we have, vegan options, dairy-free options as well, a nice, great menu with a lot of different variety too. So we'll give out little protein shots with that are glow-in-the-dark shot glasses too, so everybody makes a toast. It's a great time. We have a free trial option that's available at the top of our website. It includes 3 classes within a week's time. After 3, you can make a decision to say if Unity is the right fit for you. And then from there, people usually go in 2 paths. One, they say, okay, you know what, I want to commit, I want to get a membership, how do I go about doing that? And then we have 3 tiers. We have the Warrior Lite, which gives you access to come to the gym 2 times a week. And then you have the Warrior, which gives you access to come to 4 days a week. And it also includes the specialty classes that we were talking about. And then we have something called the Warrior Plus, which is full access, also includes our Lift and Glow event. And that's the most premium package that we offer. And then the pricing points are varied, and all that information is on our website. And then we also have boot camp class packs. So some people don't have either the financial means or the flexibility to commit at that time, but they still want to be taking care of their health. So they purchase a boot camp class pack. And the great thing about the class packs that we offer them in denominations of 4, 8, and 16. And a class pack, for example, the 16 one drops the per class rate to $15, whereas if you were to do just a drop-in after your free trial, it's at $29. So it's not very cost effective, and most members either opt, like I said, for a class pack or for one of our memberships. The great thing about our memberships as well, as we're talking about being financially smart too, is that all of our payments are bi-weekly. So if you're a parent or you're single and you're having to budget accordingly, you can budget knowing, okay, this payment's coming out this week, et cetera, rather than a whole lump sum up front. So we're located in the heart of Scarborough, Warden and Eglinton. Our address is 30 Bertrand Avenue. One of the great things about our facility is that we have a really big parking lot, so parking is available, which is important when you're running a class, because let's say we have 2 classes and they're both full. We want to make sure that we have ample parking for people coming and going. We also have TTC accessibility from Warden Station. The 68 bus comes right near our gym as well. And you can also find us online. You just Google Unity Toronto Gym, will pop up. Our website's www.unity-toronto.com. And yeah, all of our services are listed on there. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find us at unity.to as well.